What should we sing at the start? Hello, I'm Malcolm Cox. Thanks for joining me today. This is the Sunday Sample, episode 39 for Corporate Worship Matters. And today we're talking about what should we sing at the start, at the beginning of a church service. What kinds of songs are best? There's certainly an opinion area, no laws being laid down here today, but I would like to know what you think because I have a conviction about this at the moment. Anyway, this is my current thinking. I might change it in the future, but I would like to know what you think. So what do we do with that opening set? Whether you sing one song and have a prayer and a welcome and then a number of songs, but that, or 4 or 5 songs at the beginning, that opening section of singing those songs, what should be the focus? Now, this has been on my mind for lots of reasons, but it's encapsulated, my thinking is encapsulated by something that my friend Dave Eastman wrote in his article on building worship flow, written back in 2014. Let me read you this section from it and tell me what you think. Dave says, when people come together on a Sunday morning, they have been beaten up by the world. As much as we might encourage them to come spiritually prepared, they are not necessarily in a spiritual state when they arrive. It is primarily the job of the worship team to take these people by the hand and walk them into the presence of God. Isn't that a wonderful paragraph? And thanks, Dave, for writing that. That's our job as worship leaders, as a worship team. Take these people by the hand and lead them into the presence of God. They've been beaten up all week by the world. It's tough. And yes, we'd love everybody to have a superb quiet time and be close to God that Sunday morning before they come to church. But it's not always the case, is it? Perhaps not even for us. So what do we need to do? We need to lead them into the presence of God. I believe that's why that first set of songs is so important, that it's about God. That's what matters, because what's the point in singing a song about our response to God, how we're going to live, until we've reflected on who He is? What's the point in making a request of God? God be with me, God help me, God answer my prayers, if we haven't yet reflected on who God is? We need to be consciously clear of the God that is with us, so that then our requests and our responses are meaningful. And that's why I would suggest we don't have a song like Rise Up, O Men of God at the beginning. That's a wonderful song. But it's about our response. Okay, let's rise up, men of God. But we haven't reflected on who God is and why we should rise up. So those first songs more about God, how great thou art, how great is our God, awesome God. Any songs that are about God's heart and character and qualities surely are the way to begin. So let's talk about 4 practicals that may help us with this. 4 things. Firstly, let's make those songs God focused. Look at the lyrics of the songs you're picking for this coming Sunday. Are they mostly really about God? I know not many songs exclusively about God without a sense of response, but there are some that are predominantly, in fact many, predominantly about God. Are they mostly at least about God? Pick some songs that are God focused, not about our response to Him or what He's going to do for us or how we're going to deal with that. Secondly, try and keep a flow. If we're focused on God, it really helps if one song does flow into another, no big gaps unless there's a purpose to it. That flow helps us as we're leading people into the presence of God. If we lead them part way into the presence of God and then at that first song, and then there's a big gap because we're a bit flustered and we haven't planned the service well, then the world creeps back in and we've got to start again with a second song. Okay, let's lead you back a bit into the presence of God. Then there's a gap and the world creeps back into our thinking, and let's make a flow. 2 songs, 3 songs, 4 songs, however many you feel is necessary. But secondly, the flow helps. God-focused songs, having a flow. Thirdly, the worship leaders ourselves being connected with God. If we're not connected with God, how are we going to help other people connect with God? So that's important for us. Have your own devotional time with God before coming to church. I hate to say it like this, but I suppose it's a reality. It's perhaps more important for the worship team to have had some good devotional time with God on a Sunday morning, even than the rest of the congregation. If we're going to lead people somewhere, we've got to have been there already. Have some prayer time, have some time in God's Word, meditate on the nature of God beforehand, and then connected with that, I'd say the 4th thing is to have a pre-service devotional time together as a worship team, not just as an organizational meeting, but as a time to reflect on who God is collectively as a team, so that we can then lead collectively the congregation more into the presence of God. Of course, God's present all the time. It's just that we're not personally or corporately conscious of that. So being prepared to lead people like that will make a huge difference potentially